I was on Twitter the other day, and this is where I'm going to start. I still call it Twitter because X just sounds so provocative, doesn't it? But my point was Elon Musk was doing his normal thing, being a weirdo who's either really a freaking genius or just really a dunce who has a lot of money, one of the two. But he posted about Grok or Grok or whatever the AI platform is that he developed or that X developed or whoever developed. I don't know. And people were responding to it not as an it, but as a he. Oh, he helps me keep organized, or she helps me organize my list. I'm just saying this. What if wants to identify as a she, but we're calling it a he? Is that a legal issue? Aside from that, too, we have to realize that we're referring, and this is what I noticed anyway, we're referring to AI as a he, as if it's a person. No, it's not. It's an LLM. It's an algorithm. It's not a person. And this is kind of the point of the discussion today is simply we are now at the point in human society where we are talking to appliances and considering them people. This Modern Family episode where they buy a refrigerator, and this was kind of predating AI or the AI explosion that happened this past couple of years, but it was a refrigerator. The refrigerator talked and learned from them. And it was funny because that exact quote came from that episode where Cam, I think, is talking to the refrigerator. And finally he says, "What am I doing? I'm talking to an appliance." And I laughed so hard because it is so true. We are now at a stage in society where we are talking to appliances and calling them. I'm going to be real. I am not always the antichrist of AI. I do believe it has some value. I do believe it has some use. But I am a little terrified about how we are starting to look at this in a sentient manner. By that, I mean, my fear originally, and this was dating years back, and I'm going to be honest, I use AI all the time. All the time. This whole video is going to be edited with AI. But in doing so, that's using it as a productive tool. A lot of people are relying on automation to pick up jobs. Jeff Bezos, as an example, announced that he's going to be laying off a lot of employees in replacement of AI avatars and agents. But the problem is, and these are real statistics, 86% of people are very untrusting of AI. That majority of the companies that abandoned and fired employees or laid them off in exchange to have their whole company automated and run by AI are now scrambling to rehire them. And that's because people don't trust AI, yet they use it. And it's kind of a paradox when you think about it. When we're looking at history, we see a lot of trends that come and go. AI, I'm afraid, is not one of them. It's not like cryptocurrency. How I used to think of it was, something that would come and modernize and be looked at in the limelight as something that's, I guess, unique, but eventually it kind of just became part of normal society. I feel AI is doing that now, but we need to slow down a little bit. I know Trump, and I think one of his first executive orders was to not regulate AI. And this is problematic because that means anyone can do anything with AI. And there's still a running debate about if you write a book using ChatGPT or Claude, who owns the copyright to the book, Claude or you? That's a debate that's been going on for about 2.5 years now. And it's scary that we're looking at this in a sentient manner. Now, once again, I'm not the antichrist of AI. I do use it. I do feel it's useful. I'll admit, I use Claude to write some of my blog posts. I tried AI therapy. I have talked to Claude about some really personal issues. But here's kind of why this topic was sparked today. I'm on Product Hunt, not launching a product for myself, but for a client. And I saw there was one product or one technology that was allowing people to do their taxes using AI, using Claude. I guess as an extension, I can't keep up with the rhetoric, but that scares me because that's, as I said, it's not regulated. For 5 years, AI is supposed to be America's greatest achievement. But that's at least what Trump said. And what we don't realize is there are other countries using this in an even more unregulated fashion. And they know it better than we do. And they are using it for notorious means. Now, this extension allows you to upload your iris to, yeah, I'm not joking. And if you don't find this funny or scary, you need to find the nearest cliff, I guess, and jump off. Actually, something I asked Siri one day on a road trip. I said, Siri, find the nearest cliff for me. She didn't do anything. No suicide hotline. um, point is, you could upload, I guess, your IRS paperwork and trust it to do your petty work, but do we really want AI or Claude or something that's currently unregulated to be handling confidential information that discloses how much everyone makes a year? And I think that's why I have access to 266 million people's household income. Yes, there are databases. This should scare the crud out of anybody because it's not even illegal. A lot of people think that when you get a spam call or a cold email, or you end up on a newsletter that you didn't want to belong to, it's not always just from the dark web. AT&T had a data leak in 2024. Millions of records were released. Where they went, we don't know. What happened, we don't know. But I do know that there are legal means of scraping information. I literally have access to platforms that have 266 million people's email addresses, phone, first name, last name, date of birth, household income. How do we know that if we're not using this notoriously? Now, I'm calling the shots, and I like to say it this way. We need to slow down a little bit on this and really consider the fact that though majority of the companies that are hiring AI to automate their processes are now regretting it. I think the last statistic was about 76% were now regretting automating everything with AI. They're now rehiring the employees they fired because of it, because people don't trust AI. Yet they use it, which is paradoxical. But we need to set aside some sort of system here. I'm not specifically talking about regulation. I'm just talking about, rather than us focusing on everything going on around us in the world, we need to start looking at the apex predator we invented. I've said this before, I'll say it again. We're the first species on the face of this earth to invent its own apex predator. So I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope AI goes in the route of cryptocurrency and modifies itself into daily life so that it isn't the scariest thing that we've all seen. Most people can agree it is scary. But I am hoping that we take the time to realize that we are talking to a robot here, to not refer to it as a he, and realize that at the end of the day, we are trusting this with our data, with our personal info. That's the other thing with AI. I don't know what's real anymore with generative AI, as an example. Videos, and this is why I was on Facebook Reels and I was seeing images that somehow I'm trained, I guess, in my own weird way to be able to recognize what's video, what's AI, and what's not. I think because I was a game developer for a while, so I can kind of tell the difference between good CGI and bad CGI, but they are getting really good at making good looking videos. My point is this: we need to slow down. We need to stop advancing on this tool. It is going to be the freaking end of us. And we are not, I think I said it once before, but AI, it's not that AI has dominion over us. It's that we are now subordinate to it. As Elon Musk had said at one point, bless his weird heart, he said something along the lines of, he's hoping AI becomes smarter than human beings. And I hope to God that doesn't become true. Or maybe it should come true because most human beings aren't very smart. Take that as you will. I really hope we start realizing that this is a tool. I know everyone's saying it. I'm just wording this a different way than the hundreds of thousands of other people saying the same thing, but I'm going to end it here. Please do yourself a favor. Don't file your IRS tax returns on Claude, and be wary of what you're seeing on the news, on social media. Just realize that generative AI has gotten very powerful to the point where I believe the future is not going to hold any room for actors, for copywriters, for content creators. And by the way, yes, again, this video is going to be edited with AI. And that scares me a little bit. Kind of cool, but scary. So take care. God bless. And thank you. Take care.